All right, here we go. And we are live. We are coming live to you a few minutes early today. And just wanted to say, if you're tuning in, thank you so much for being here. And we have four people on the panel today. We've got myself, we've got Shawn from Intentional Carnivore, we've got Kipp from Carnivore Kipp, and we have got Alia from Alia Wells channel.
Nice.
Very nice to have you with us, Alia.
Thank you so
So,
much.
Alia, did you just want to quickly introduce yourself if people have not seen your channel yet?
Sure. My name is Alia Wells, like it says right here, and I've been doing carnivore since the beginning of March. One day I was just like, enough's enough, and I just hopped on the bandwagon. And I saw several videos from Carnivore Kipp, and then that inspired me to start my channel.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. So, guys, just before we get started, quickly want to run through how we'll do today, so that we are not talking over each other, and you can kind of get the most out of today's live stream. The way we will handle it is, please, if you have a question, please put a nice big Q in front of your question, and that's going to help me out with my aged eyesight as I go through the live stream questions, the chat questions. I'll ask the question to the panel, and then we'll go around and answer. So thank you very much, and we are waiting for your questions. So anyway, Shawn, Kipp, Alia, how are you doing today?
Great. Great.
I am fantastic, man. I
Great.
was excited, looking forward to tonight, seeing everybody, welcome everybody from the group, and glad to finally meet face to face, I guess you could say, with Miss Alia and have her on, and you guys, man. Every week's like a party with you guys, so I'm excited all the time for that. So, as Kipp said there, everybody, if you would just hit that like button, that helps us out no matter what channel you're on, whatever you're viewing it from. It'll push it out, push the video out, get more people in here to ask questions and such, and we are much appreciated for that. Kipp, what about you, man? You got any thoughts?
I'm so excited to be here because it, you know, ever since I've started carnivore, I'm the only person in my family that is on this journey, and just being able to talk with y'all, even though right now I'm only able to do it every other week, but I know Shawn has been trying to get it out every week. It's just good because I mean, even though we get to come together and communicate, and it's been really awesome, and it's been beneficial and helping me to stay on this path.
Awesome, brother.
And me?
Nice. Go ahead.
Yeah, I woke up super excited. I had all these things I was doing today with my kids, but I was like, I can't wait for the live. It's gonna be so fun.
Nice. Okay, so guys, we've got our first question, and Barbara is asking, does it help to have same times and same meats to eat each day? Okay, Kipp, what do you think about that?
For me, it just works out that way because I mean, you kind of have a similar routine every day. I normally would eat 2 meals a day. For the meats, I eat mostly beef, and do eat sometimes when I'm in a pinch. I'll eat hot dogs, and I know some people won't eat that, but 2 meals a day, and whenever I get farther into other meats, like too many meats, it starts making me want other things as well. But sometimes I'll have chicken and things like that. I'm not sure exactly how to answer that question, but I eat a lot of beef.
And Shawn, how about you?
For me, I'll be honest with you. I kind of like Kipp. I got into like a routine of eating the same things, and based on what I chose to eat, it's like it's super simple to make it. Like I said, the eggs take the longest just because the way we do them, boiling them, mixing them, piping them back in, setting them up. But even at that, an hour and a half, 2 hours tops. Like you've got your first meal for the whole week planned, or 5 days, or however many you prepare. And same thing with the steak. I grill 5, 6 steaks at a time, and you know for me, it completely eliminates the thought of food for the entire week, because I can literally just walk to the fridge whenever I get hungry. My body's like, hey, it's time to have something. Grab it, eat, and I'm done with it. And that's literally the only time I want to think about food. When I have to prepare it for what little bit of time it takes, and whenever my body says it's time to take it, go get it, eat it, done with it. And there's literally that much thought on food. So it's nice to have the freedom. And by choosing the same meats in the same time every day, that's kind of the reason behind why I chose what I chose and have just stuck with it. And it's so filling, and I really just don't want any more. So there, I guess a few reasons, but yeah, for me, it does help, saves time and everything else. So back, Aaliyah, sorry. What about you?
I just eat when I'm hungry, and that's random every day. And sometimes it's one, 2 or 3 times a day. More 2 or 3 times a day recently. But so, yeah, same meats. Right now, I just want to eat steak or eggs or bacon or pork belly. So I guess that's the same foods. I think that when you start this, your body, maybe you try like different things, and then your body's going to tell you to eat less like specific things. At least that's from my experience. So I can't say on the same times, but probably the same meats, yes, because you're only gonna maybe want to eat specific things after a while. Oh, Shawn's got something to say.
Shawn.
I completely just overlooked the same times thing, like, and just got focused. You say meat around me, my attention is going to get off. Okay, so I'm thinking about steak already again. So like the whole times thing for me, that revolved around. I was intermittent fasting whenever I first went to BBB&E. And so I really planned it. I used a little app because I had never fasted, didn't really intermittent fast, and was trying to track my time to give myself a challenge to do this, stick with it, do it correctly, whatever. Well, as time goes on, what a lot of people find is that you're satiated, so you eat less. So I really don't think about intermittent fasting. I don't plan it anymore, but my body kind of got used to it. The one thing specifically about times that I try my best not to do ever, your glucose naturally is the highest from the dawn effect when you first get up in the mornings. So the last thing that I wanted to do was put something in place like get up and eat breakfast like I would normally do before I came to this way of eating, because I didn't want to raise that glucose anymore to a level to where maybe it would stimulate insulin response and block off my ability to burn fat. So I usually give it at least 2 hours. It doesn't have to be 2 hours. It can be an hour and a half, whatever, just so long as it's not right when I get up. And on the other side of the day, I don't want to eat within 2 or 3 hours before going to bed, because when I go to bed, I know that my body is trying to rest, recuperate, just get me completely redone for the next day, burn all, I've heard and read that you burn most of I say burn. I was just talking about that with somebody in the group. You eliminate fat from your body the most at night when you're asleep by breathing it off. Whether that's true or not, I haven't done any scientific studies with Professor K recently, so I can't say it's a fact. But I mean, that's what I've read and seen. So that's really the reason behind the times for me.
Nice.
Dave, sorry, back to you.
Look, I can't really add much to that except to say for myself, I'm a creature of habit, so I've just got into basically eating the same thing every single day at the same time every single day. So yeah, it doesn't change very much for me. It's some kind of red meat and scrambled eggs, and yeah, at 7 o'clock in the morning, and it seems to work. But it also seems to work at varying times for people. So I guess it's the nutrition and the quality of the food, not the times or volume. Um, okay, so we have got another one.
Hmm.
Electronic flight bag is unable to sleep the entire night. Any solutions? Shawn, did you have anything you wanted to talk about there?
Well, yeah. For as far as sleep, just make sure that you're not subjecting yourself to electronics. That helps. One thing that always helped me was trying to be a little bit more active during the day, get some sunlight, make sure your vitamin level, vitamin D specifically, is good. From sunlight if possible. Go for a little walk. Try to not be stressed out. Best you can. Anything, those common things like that are really beneficial. And from what I have found, try to set a schedule for whenever you're going to sleep. Like, say, like for me, for example, I literally spent 8 hours one day making a schedule out, because making the videos and trying to get all this YouTube stuff off the
Hmm.
ground, I've been staying up till now. I didn't say I was actually doing that, but that was the plan anyway, in the goal to reach. But I used to, when I was going through the roughest time of my life for those 3 years, I would stay up whatever hours, sleep whatever hours. There was no rhyme or reason to it. And one of the big things about losing weight specifically is that you need to sleep, you need to have rest so that your body can work. And I actually took, and this is the worst thing in the world to even say, but it's true. So during that time period, I would take Tylenol PMs to make myself get on a schedule, because my schedule was so out of whack. And once I got used to my schedule of sleeping, then obviously I stopped the Tylenol PMs. But I knew I had to get in some kind of a rhythm. So try to set your schedule, stay away from the electronics, get a little, some form of movement during the day that uses some energy and wears you out a little bit. And definitely don't give yourself energy through food close to bedtime. Sorry, Kip, what do you think, man?
It's going to be kind of piggybacking off of you, Shawn. And the reason that is for me is because my wife, which she's in the chat, but she used to always tell me, you can't go to sleep at night because you're playing on your phone. Because I used to play on my phone all the time, and I would take melatonin and would try to go to sleep but I would be watching videos and taking melatonin, and I would have a hard time. They were counteracting against each other, and so I had a hard time going to sleep for years, and tried to get better about laying my phone down at certain times, and that's helped me. So I know that sounds so simple, as me and Shawn both said that, but sometimes you just need to set things down in your life and just say, hey, this is time to chill out and rest. Unless you're watching one of our YouTube videos. If you're watching any of our YouTube videos, watch them all night long.
I will say, if you're not doing carnivore, get on to carnivore and then do what everyone else did. My sleep improved in a week, and I'm sleeping deeper now than I have in years, and I can even fall asleep at 8 o'clock at night. So that's amazing. So if you're not doing carnivore, get on to carnivore or somewhere on the proper human diet, and get rid of the carbohydrates and get rid of the seed oils, and then do what they just said. That's my 2 cents.
You're on mute, brother.
So sorry, guys.
No.
I can't add much to that, but to just one tiny point would be, you might want to test the times that you're eating during the day. If you're not eating a long time before bed, what might happen is, if your body realizes that you haven't had food for a long time, you'll get a flood of cortisol. Like if I do a 48-hour fast, on the second morning, I'm going to be awake at 2 a.m. because my body is going to be flooded with cortisol. My body's telling me, go and look for food. So if you haven't eaten for an extended period of time, just consider maybe breaking that up and eating, not straight before bed, but maybe closer to the evening, and see if that improves for you. Just before we get to the next question, guys, I'm just having a look at the numbers here. We've got about 156 people in the stream at the moment, but we have got nowhere near that number of likes. All right. So do us a massive favor, and smash the like button if you haven't already. And that is going to have the effect of bringing more people into the chat so that we have a much more lively and engaged chat and more questions where everyone can benefit from. So, on to our next question. We have got a question from Paulette. She says, anyone seeing improvement in type 2 diabetes or metabolic issues? Thank you. Okay, so who wants to get started with that? Alia.
I don't have an answer to that question. Other than
Okay.
I've heard people have reversed this, like semi-retired Bob says he's reversed his diabetes. So
All right.
that's what
So
I know.
Kip
So
had his
Kip,
hand up. So let's go to
yeah.
Kip.
So, and I did a video on it recently, and I've been very excited about it because I started Carnivore in January, and I had got lab work done, I think in November before then, so a couple months before that, and I was a type 2 diabetic. I wasn't like far into being a diabetic. I was like 6.6 was my A1C, and so since I started carnivore, I'm no longer diabetic, and I'm also no longer pre-diabetic because my A1C is 5.6. So in like 5 months, I'm no longer diabetic or pre-diabetic. So yes, carnivore can help you with type 2 diabetes.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
That's
Absolutely.
awesome.
Absolutely. I'm sorry, I just jumped right on over y'all. I was excited. There was something I wanted to mention too before I do my type 2 diabetes answer. I wanted to, like a lot of people have pointed out in the chat, congratulate Dave on his sobriety, man, because that's a big thing. I know I told you before, but I want everybody here to know it, dude. I'm proud of you, man, because that's a big one to overcome, not just with the diet, but spending a year like that's our anniversary, I should say. That's a big thing, dude, and I'm proud of you, brother. I love you. You know that. I've told you, and I wanted to make special mention of that. But
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
and yes, sir. And as far as the type 2 diabetes, uh, I was a pre-diabetic for 20 years. I something that I didn't really care about and didn't really put much emphasis on because like everything else health wise, I was just oblivious to the direction I was headed in. But as soon as type 2 diabetes was given to me as a diagnosis, I knew that's when it hit me like, this is real, and that happened, a couple years back. So when I started, I was real close to 7, and now May, the second week of May, I was tested, and I no longer have type 2 diabetes. I no longer have pre-diabetes. So I've reversed not just the type 2 diabetes, but 20 years worth of pre-diabetes, and my A1C was 5.2. So hopefully I would love to get down into the 4s, but I am super excited that I don't have type 2 diabetes or even pre-diabetes anymore. And I can definitely tell. So that's absolutely. I'm excited.
Nice. All right. So let's go on to the next one. Now this one could potentially be a very long answer question, so we might have to time limit this one for everyone.
Okay.
So L says, can you share your stories? Why did you start? What has improved on Carnivore? Okay, Alia, you want to go first on this one?
Yeah, and I will make it concise. So why did I start? I'd been watching I tried keto a lot, various times, and couldn't stick to it and didn't have the success I thought I could get. And then I saw many Dr. Barry and Dr. Chafee videos, and that convinced me. And then I saw Kipp's video, and like, yes, I'm doing this with Kipp. And so why did I start? I was almost 210 pounds. I'm like 5'5", 5'6", and I was miserable about my weight and how like big my face was and how I looked. I know it sounds very vain, but I actually did a whole video about that. It's not vain. You should like yourself. You should like how you look. You should like love yourself. So I'm back there again. That's a big improvement. I'm way happier than I was before by getting all the poison out of my body. And I hope I answered why I started. What has improved? My sleep has improved. Back pain is like 99% gone. Had back pain for 20 years. Eczema on my hand is almost gone that I've had for several years. My C-section scar that hasn't healed in 5 years. I just found out 3 days ago, a week ago, that it's totally healed and it's been gross for like 5 years and unhealed. So that's crazy. And I don't use deodorant anymore. The end. Oh, I don't have any period pain anymore, and that was a lifelong traumatic experience for me. So there you go. Kipp, your turn.
The reason that I started the carnivore diet was because, I mean, I was almost 500 pounds, and I was 29 years old, and I had just my first child, and we had prayed for like 4 or 5 years before and struggled to have her. And then once we had her, I was like, what am I doing? Because I prayed all this time have my daughter, and then I'm not going to be here in 20 years to live life with her and to be able to enjoy life with her and do things with her. So I needed to do something drastic. And I had tried keto multiple times, and I love keto, but I kept getting into the issues with some of the sweets. And because, I mean, if you go to Walmart, all over the shelves there are things that say keto on them, and those things I'm like, oh, it's keto, I might as well get that. And even whenever I tried to get away from that and do a more whole foods version of keto, I still kept messing up. And so I needed to do something. So I started in January, and I haven't looked back since. And as far as what's improved, I might miss things because I struggle to remember everything, but I'm no longer a diabetic. I'm pre-diabetic. My shoulder pain that hurt me for 3 or 4 years, which is the biggest thing, honestly, because that pain was at times almost unbearable. That pain went away completely. I don't have to take Tums anymore, and I don't have to take ibuprofen. There's just I mean, yes, the scale has been getting better, so I can get around better and enjoy life more and do things with my daughter. It's just a lot of things that have gotten better. Shawn, what about you?
April the 17th, 2022, I decided it was the day that I was going to change my life, that I'd had enough, and it was the day that I was going to get started on carnivore after coming across it and being turned on to it. I did. I put in, the dedication, the work, the consistency, and started to see some results, got involved in community, was supported by many people, and slipped many times, got back up, continued on, and reassessed the situation along the route. And it's led me to where I am today. And, I could spend 8 or 9 hours at least right now going over my story. But the why obviously is from just being in one of the darkest places of my life and not really caring about living anymore. And I was grasping for straws to find a reason to keep going on. And I found it. I have plenty of reasons, and it's completely changed my whole outlook on nutrition and health and relating with people and mental health and so many things. Like I said, I could continue on, but that's the gist of it. And I will be happy to go into more detail on, but we certainly have, a lot of questions. And from what I see, I don't know that we're going to get to it, but I'll be more than happy to go into it in much larger detail at another time. Dave, what about you?
The short story for me is I was a pudgy, unhappy alcoholic, pre-diabetic, that just, had no energy. And I got the bad news from my doctor that I kind of already knew, and decided I'm going to use keto to get some self-control. Keto didn't quite work for me for various reasons. But so that led me to Carnivore, and the rest is history. And the improvements I've seen, again, there's so many, I probably missed them. But, with the big ones, of course, weight loss, 34 pounds in a few months, muscle just comes on much more quickly than it ever has in my life. Um, More energy. I've got no gum disease anymore, no arthritis anymore. List goes on. So yeah, it's if you haven't tried it, Al, you should definitely give it a go. All right, so we've got a probably less labor intensive question coming up now. Do you guys put butter on your steak, and if so, how much? Shawn, you want to take that one first?
I do about three. I guess what is it, baby? What would you call how much I put on there, sweetheart? But I call it a pat. Do you know what a pat of butter is? Like a tablespoon. Probably three. The boss says it's 3 tablespoons. So like that's how much I put on about every steak. Like I do focus on getting enough fat, and this leads back to a whole nother discussion. But the reason why is when you either burn carbs and sugar or you burn fat. Your body doesn't prioritize burning protein, so I focused on fat. I saw tremendous weight loss on it. It didn't hinder it one bit. Matter of fact, at some points I would mention throughout the journey over the last year that it seems like the more fat I eat, the more fat I lose. And if I could prove that, I would just sit around eating butter till I got to my goal weight, and we'd be done with this story, Um, but that was my experience with it, and so yeah, about probably 3 pats of butter for a ribeye, one steak. Alia.
I sometimes cook my steak in butter, or I just eat steak. And sometimes I don't eat butter, or sometimes I do eat butter, and that's my answer. Sometimes I'll just go in the fridge and munch on it while I'm cooking. Kip.
I love butter. I love the taste of it. But and whenever I started carnivore, I just had this thought that like I needed to have like 10 pounds of butter a day, and that's not a it's not a reality for me. So over time, I kind of have cut it back. Now, whenever I eat a steak, I'll probably put a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of butter on there. Sometimes I might go as high as 3 tablespoons, but I don't like to like. I know Aaliyah said she'll cook her steaks in butter, and I will if that's all that I have. But I don't like the way that butter is when you cook with it at high heat for searing steaks. I prefer to use tallow for that, or beef tallow. And but I mean, I will cook a steak in butter and it'll be fine, but I just prefer to add my butter after the steak has already cooked. But yes, I do love butter.
Nice. Okay, so and for me, I don't tend to cook in butter. If that's all I've got, then I will. But yeah, I usually would go for tallow or lard to cook in, and I don't just eat it as a stick of butter anymore as a snack because it wasn't really agreeing with me. Okay, so now what do we got? My family says I look gaunt. Carnivore since May 2022, lost 65 pounds. Nice work. 176, 111. I am beginning to lift weights, but I will not eat potatoes. Okay, so my family says I look gaunt. Kipp, you want to start on that one? What's your feeling about that?
I don't know what gaunt is.
So, like, she's looking sickly thin.
I don't. I'm probably not the right person to ask that question because I'm the exact opposite. So I'm gonna pass that to one of y'all smaller folks and see what y'all have to say about that.
Eat more fat. That's what I say. Eat more fat. There you go. Shawn?
Oh, I mean, I would. They're saying you look sickly because See, you've been carnivore since 2022. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, a lot of times your body knows where you need to be,
Mm.
and it's not like a button that you can turn on and turn off and say, okay, well, I'm gonna. And that's one thing that I've given a lot of thought about, because I never thought that I would make it as far as I have towards where I need to be, because I was way on the other side of obesity, you know. But now that the closer I've gotten to my goal weight and even my BMI recommended weight, I've had this thought like, what happens if it doesn't stop? Like, when you lose 243 pounds in a year, it does some weird things to what you're thinking about as far as weight loss. And I mean, it's been literally dropping so quickly that I'm like, what? Now I know that it's recommend. My goal is 190. The BMI chart says that I should be between like 155 and 160 and 170, right in that neighborhood. So what happens whenever my weight's like, okay, you're going to shoot right on past 170 down to 150, 160, one whatever? Because I mean, it's slowed down a little, but it's definitely hasn't stopped. And so it's something that's really been on my mind. But at the same time, your body is highly effective at homeostasis, which is maintaining what it's, its regulation. And it knows what to do with the nutrients. That's how it can reverse the diabetes and the non-alcoholic fatty liver disease and fix issues that you have battled for lots of time. All my blood work is phenomenal. So there's no reason or indication to give me that would have me worried about it doing what I, fear as far as weight. So my suggestion to you would be, um, you know, just continue to stick to the carnivore, continue to eat, naturally till you're full or whatever you desire to eat. And, I guess they'll just have to get used to the new you. I mean, your body's going to put you where it wants to put you. Um, it's not like we get to decide when that is. The body decides. People get so used to seeing obesity as the normal that they don't understand what it looks like to see people who are healthy and normal. And I mean, maybe that's bad to say, but I mean, that's where we are as a society. That's why this message is so important. That's why some of us are so passionate about it, because we've experienced that and we see the problem, and like most everybody else, and we want to do something to change that. And it's not just us, it's each and every one of you guys that join us, that comment, that follow everything, that get the message out to your friends, that support the causes and invest in us. I mean, that's why it's so important. It's more than just being enthusiastic about the steaks that we eat or the hamburgers that we eat or the bacon that we like or whatever. It's a message that can literally change people's life, because it gives them the nutrients that they need to regulate their body correctly so that they can live optimally and function as we were intended to function, And I think that's important, And I'm sorry, man, I get off on a tangent. Y'all know how I am. You just got to mute me. It's hope, man. Go ahead, Alia. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I just wanted when you were done. But I do want to say on the point of more fat, like female bodies need more fat. We need that to produce, from everything I've learned and all the research I've done listening to doctors, we need more fat to produce the proper hormones in our bodies. So I don't know how you look. I don't know if you feel you look gaunt, but always more fat will help heal a female body from my experience and from what I've learned.
Nice.
Yeah.
So all the messages so far have been on the positive end of the spectrum. So if I could just turn it round a little bit for a second.
All right, fancy.
So I would be saying, if your family is saying to you, look gaunt, I would be kind of stepping back and trying to look at that and thinking, as Shawn mentioned, everyone's got so used to, being overweight or being obese, right? Like that a lot of people who are not metabolically healthy subconsciously are going to be looking at someone who is a normal weight and seeing them as underweight because that's not their normal. And so I would be just saying to myself, look, that's their opinion. But how do I feel? And if you're feeling the best you've ever felt before in your life, then of course I wouldn't be going to eat potatoes, but I wouldn't be I wouldn't be worrying about it. If someone thinks, people think, would probably look at me and go, I'm gaunt. Yeah, I
Mhm.
am compared to what I was, but I don't want to be what I was before, So I worried about how I feel. So I would just go that way. Trust your body. Um Okay, so guys, just before we go on to the next question, we've got over 200 people in the live stream right now, but again, nowhere near that number of likes. So if you could do me a massive favor, please smash the like button. We would all appreciate it because it's going to bring more people in to watch the live stream. We'll have more questions, and everyone benefits that way. All right, so we have got a very important question here from Peachy Pemmermint. I think that's how you pronounce it. Do, do you think it's okay to just jump into carnivore right off the bat, or should you start keto or ketovore? All right. So, Alia, you want to go first on that one?
I think jump right in, but be prepared if you're on the standard American diet to go through some withdrawals of carbohydrates, which can feel pretty maybe not good. So research like Dr. Berry or Dr. Chafee on what they say to get over that period of time where you need to get from you're on a terrible standard American diet full of garbage and then get onto carnivore. Get onto carnivore, but like stick with it because in a couple weeks you're going to feel better than you felt in years. That I think that's a good way because I think the keto can get confusing. I even did ketovore before I started carnivore, and I ate like for Christmas a huge cheese platter all by myself. So I think if you just do right onto carnivore, get through any period, maybe you don't experience anything, you just start feeling better. That's what I think.
Cool. Kip, what about you?
I think it depends on the person. Me personally, I went cold turkey, and it worked for me to go cold turkey, but I realized that some people need to just kind of ease into it. I had done keto multiple times before, so that may have helped
Mm.
my transition because I had trained my body in the past to, burn fat as its fuel source. So that helped me. But I mean, I'll be honest, there was still, even though I had done keto multiple times in the past, there was still a few days where there was a toilet paper shortage at my office. But, but after a phase, it got better and, things smoothed out, and I didn't have a lot of issues with, like, cramping like some people. But, I mean, if you're wanting to go cold turkey, you might wanna have, like, one of those brands that has the electrolytes or learn how to mix up your own electrolytes and, stay close to the toilet.
I'm so happy I didn't experience that.
Right.
And Shawn, how about you?
Like I've said many times, April 17th, 2022 was my day. That was the day it was going down, and ever since that day, I've been doing it. So, however, I will mention that talking with I always want to call him Dr. K, Professor Bart K. Even he mentioned, and the reason I think I reference him so like the guy is brilliant. He's spent a lot of years in science and knows what he's talking about, along with a lot of the other people. I just recently talked with him, so I guess I mentioned him more, I guess. But we were talking about that exact issue, and he suggests transitioning over slowly over time. And me and him both agree. You start however is sustainable for you to continue this way of eating, and
Mm-hmm.
what works for me may not work for you. What worked for whoever may not work for the next person. The main thing that I try my best to emphasize is sustainability because, if you do it for a week and then fall off and don't come back, then what are you gaining, But if you start off slow and ease into it, get your body adjusted, get your gallbladder working, get your digestion working again, become more used to what you're eating and get a routine going, then it's going to be easier to carry it out and stay on it. So, you know, you got to figure out what's right for you. Don't set unrealistic expectations for yourself and expect to succeed. You know, just do what's going to work. You know yourself better than anybody else. If that's start the day, kick everything out of your house and go with it, then by all means, I don't think you should stop. You know, I don't think you should not do it. Um, but at the same time, some people need to ease into it for whatever reason, and that's okay too. But just make it sustainable and stay consistent. Dave.
Yeah, my experience is similar to everyone else's. I kind of just, I almost went straight into it. I had a week or two where I was keto, but I even if I'd gone straight into it, like Kipp had mentioned, I'd been keto so many times, my body was probably fat adapted and used to this way of eating, so didn't have so many issues. Yeah, I think you got to just handle it the way it's going to work best for your body. So just start out however you feel is going to be right for you, and then adjust. You know, if things are not going well, if you go cold turkey, just pull back a little bit, add the veggies back in, but don't pull back to the point where you're adding back the ice cream and the Twinkies. Right. You know, yeah, okay. So, guys, just another reminder to please smash that like button. We got 225 people in now. Let's see if we can get that up to 300 people before the hour. All right. I'm not sure how quickly I'm getting through these, but go ahead, Shawn.
So I noticed somebody had a super chat. Did you cover that one already? Like, I don't know whose channel. I can't see it, but that's a good way to get
this one.
You go and cover that one because, you know, I don't know whose channel it was on, but I did notice it. Go ahead.
Okay, Christopher Ellis, 20. Is that Romanian something? I'm not sure. Thank you very much, Christopher. And he's a Dr. Emma. Fitbit is in hiding. 380 days by Tuesday. Nice work. So Christopher is now over a year on Carnivore. Oh, that's awesome, Christopher.
Good job.
And thank you very much for the kind donation too. Okay, so where are we? Do you think it's okay? And TJ Riley wants to know, what are your thoughts on exercising fasted versus fueled? Who wants to take that first?
I mean,
okay,
I've heard that it's good to exercise when you're fasting. I've heard that. I don't know. I exercise and I go to the pool with my kids after I work, and that's usually after lunch. So that's what I do. But I've heard that it burns more ketones or increases something to burn fat faster if you are fasted and exercising.
Okay. Kipp, did you want to share anything on this one?
That will probably be the first thing that I look up whenever I start exercising, because I haven't started exercising yet. But you know, I want to exercise, but I just found out, and I shared it with people on my channel, that I was born with, it's called spina bifida occulta, which is like a mild form of spina bifida, and it's been causing like issues in my lower back. So that's kind of been making me like hold off on the walking and hold off on exercising. But I start physical therapy. I was supposed to start Friday, but I'm starting Tuesday. Hopefully they can help me work it out some, and I want to start exercising. And so I want to get advice from y'all on that question, because I'd like to know if I should be fasted or fueled as well.
Cool. And Shawn, did you want to add?
I'll be honest with you. I walk, but I don't do a whole lot of exercise. But personally, whenever I do exercise, when I would go walking the most, I didn't want to do it around whenever I was eating, because even eating carnivore, if I had heavy meat on my stomach and working out, it just didn't settle right with me. But like I said, I never went hard in it. Like I plan to start doing lifting some weights and stuff like that. But for me, the thought of exercising when my body's trying to digest, just those two processes going on at the same time. For me, there's no scientific reason for that, but it's just personal opinion for me on that. So that's just where I'm at. Sorry. Back to you, Dave.
So I've got experience doing both in the gym over the last couple of months. And when I'm in the gym, I'm not doing anything spectacular. I'm only doing dumbbell presses. That's the only thing I do. I go into the gym, do a few reps of a few sets of dumbbell presses, and then that's it. I'm done. I'm out of there. I don't want to spend any more time in there than I need to. But I will say, when I'm fasted, it feels like I have more ability I don't get exhausted as quickly. I don't tire as quickly. I don't I can't, the correct word is on the tip of my tongue, but I can't think of it. But like when you know, you get to the point where you can't do the exercises anymore, you know, when I'm fasted, I seem to be able to go longer that way. So yeah, I think fasted is better, just from my own personal experience. And guys, we're getting up there. We've got about 238 now. Come on, smash like, smash,
Wow.
smash.
Wow.
And we're going to hit that 300 by 10:40. By 11.
The one thing I did want to mention too is it might be weird because a lot of people, and somebody mentioned Amber and Dan, good to see you guys, Carnivore Quest and Homestead Hal, Carrie, brother, good to see all you guys. Oh, it's good to see everybody, but I want to mention this. There's a lot of folks in here. You guys may not see all the chats because some of them are from my channel and some of them are from Dave's channel and some of them from Kipp's channel. So it's kind of like all mixed up. So that might be confusing. We don't usually cover that topic, but you know, somebody else mentioned it in my chat a while ago. So I just wanted to throw that out there. That's why it seems a little weird that there's people in different places. So we're trying to get to everything too. So I'll shut up now.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, because like I've got mine running on the side here just so I can watch what's going on. And yeah, it's funny seeing some of the chats. It's like people can't tell that, you know, there's multiple different chats going on. Okay, so here's one that's a little bit maybe you know, will create some controversy. Kathy wants to know, is your spouse's eating the same as you? That is a problem here. Any suggestions? All right, so maybe can we start with Kipp? Is your spouse's eating the same as you? And any suggestions?
I love my wife to death, but she's not eating this way, and I hate to throw her under the bus. I wish that she would, but she's a grown woman and she gets to make her own decisions, and I love her anyway. And you know, so my suggestion, if your spouse isn't eating that way, is just do your best to be the example, and you know, and maybe they'll come around one day.
Alia.
That was my husband, just popping in there. He eats basically what I cook. If the kids sometimes, and the kids are almost eating carnivore, but they eat fruit and stuff. And when we go out on the weekends, they'll have their junk food. But in the house, everyone's eating pretty clean. No, but if they want rice, he'll eat rice. But if I'm cooking, we're having pretty much carnivore, and everyone's cool with that. So I'm pretty lucky.
Nice.
Shawn.
So yes, my wife is eating the same thing. If you watch the interview on my channel that we put out Wednesday, she comes on and meets everybody and talks, and so she is eating. So I'm assuming that your spouse doesn't eat the same thing. You said that's a problem here. Any suggestions? I just want to make the point too that like even when they start eating the same way as you do, there's going to be issues because she eats later than I do, so I have to smell the last meal of the day being cooked, and it stars me sometimes when I'm not even hungry. It's a joke, but like, you know, we're always going to find something. But yeah, it does make it easier as far as not seeing some of the foods that I used to see before being ate. You know, I would go out on the porch while they were eating in here, just to remove myself from the situation. Just set a resolve, ask them to work with you, good communication with your spouse. They love you, they support you, I'm sure, and they want to see you healthier, and spend more time in their life with you. So just good communication skills, and tell them your heart. Um, remove yourself from the situation if you have to, as far as when they're eating in there, go out on the porch, go to another room. It may seem kind of, I don't know what the word for it is, but aggravating to have to do something like that. But whatever it takes to keep you on track, do what it takes, and don't worry about how it looks on the outside, because eventually you're going to get to the point where it's not as big of a deal as it is currently, and you're going to be able to sit there and watch them eat, or whatever the case is, and it's not going to bother you because you're going to be so far along and feel so good and be so healthy that it's just not going to matter to you.
Mhm.
Dave?
Yeah, my spouse is not eating the same way as me, and there's probably no chance of that ever happening, but she is supportive of me. But it was pretty rough at the beginning, because of course she would cook and she'd want to cook for me as well, and I would be like, yeah, please understand I can't eat that, and so that led to a little bit of tension. But it was just a matter of it was just a matter of reinforcing, and saying, look, I'm doing this for my health, I have to get over this. And eventually it all worked out, and now she sees the results and she's very supportive. Although she's not doing it herself, she's very supportive. So often once you get to the point where you visually are getting those results, then it makes the discussion a lot easier, I think, as well, because then they can say, oh, okay, well, he or she is doing this for a reason, you know. Yeah. So we have a question that I have absolutely no idea about. So Johnny Boy Silver wants to know, I season my meat with turmeric and paprika, mostly put them on the fat of the cut. Is that detrimental? Barbecue Carnivore Kipp. You want to start with this one?
Well, I use paprika, but the only reason I use paprika is for color, because it gives you that mahogany red color that a lot of people like. But turmeric, I don't really use that when I'm cooking, but maybe he has a reason why he uses that. But I know when I first started keto, I used to hear a lot of people talk about the benefits of turmeric, and a lot of people would say, I think they would mix it with like black pepper or something like that, and they would say that it would help with inflammation or something. And so I bought some like this really bougie name brand turmeric, and I used it for a little while, and then I just stopped. So maybe there's something to it. I don't know, but I don't really use it. But I don't know. I wish Johnny would have said the reasons that they use that. Alia, what about you?
I think that if you are seeing results in how you're eating, don't change anything. If you don't see results, then change something. So if you're seasoning your meat and it's turmeric and paprika and not MSG, and you see that you're doing fine, continue. And if you see you stop, maybe you take that out. Here you go, Shawn.
I'm gonna pass it to Dave, because I mean I don't use, I don't think I use paprika or turmeric. Um,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
yeah,
I don't use them either. But I would just say, I guess similar to what Alia has just said, like if it's working for you, if you're losing the weight you want, don't worry about it. And because everyone's different, everyone's going to
Mm-hmm.
react to that a little bit differently. And if you want, test removing it for a couple of weeks or something and see if you notice any difference. And if you notice a difference, and the difference is more important to you than the taste of the turmeric or the paprika, then yeah. Sorry, Kip, go ahead.
So I was just gonna say whenever you got done that so like if you go to a store and you look at like barbecue rubs, I know this because I've played around with a bunch of different rubs and stuff, but when you see them and if the bottle looks really red, it's usually like on the inside, it's usually because it has a lot of paprika in it. Um, and there's actually smoked paprika and then there's regular paprika, and they're both good for putting that color in your, but you don't have, like, I don't know of any health benefits of paprika. So I'm not saying everybody needs to go out and buy paprika, but I'm saying that for me, that's the only reason that I use it in anything is the color.
Nice. Okay. So, my chat has just skipped a little bit, so I hope I'm not missing anything, but here's the next one we've got. Charmed Mum. She says, "How long did it take you to become fat adapted?" 11:08 here, Eastern Aussie time, and I'm enjoying this chat whilst I enjoy my fluffy eggs with beef mince bacon and on the side and a hot water on the side and a hot water. All right, Shawn, how long did it take you to become fat adapted?
Man, to be honest, I think it was within the first month because like I started losing weight. Like I lost a lot of water weight at first, and then I went through a time period about the third week ish where I felt like I had the flu, and a lot of people explain that as being like the keto flu. And then after that, like I felt like started feeling just different, and I can't explain whether that was the transition to becoming fat adapted, or if that was literally the cholesterol transforming the depression that I had lived in such a bad state for so long that that's when I was coming out of it. I can't explain it, but
Mhm.
by the time I made that walking video on my channel that I talk about a lot, I'm assuming that I was fat adapted. I had dropped. I think I dropped like 40 pounds the first month of carnivore that I was eating, and then moved over in June to BBBE, and the weight was just shredding. But so Bart K says the last time I talked with him, we talked about that issue, and he said it could take 6 months to a year even to
Mm.
completely become fat adapted. I've never heard of that, but like he knows a lot more about it than I do, so I will definitely take his word for it. Um, I hope that helps, friend. Enjoy the food. It's good to see you, Charmed. Alia.
I think about a month, but that's very interesting what you were just saying. That could take 6 months to a year. I Yeah, but I think about a month because I remember. I think after the first month, I went to like a steak restaurant and I ate like the piece of fat on the steak, and then I wasn't hungry, but my husband's like, "You should eat dinner." And then I ate the piece of fat, and I felt like a state of zen I've never felt before. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but everything was like my mind was like ding. So I think at that point, um, it was around the time that my body was like, yes, I'm burning fat and not burning sugar or carbohydrates anymore. But I don't know if I'm fully there yet. But I do know that I can eat. I'm not snacking anymore, and I feel fine when I'm eating, and I can just go long periods of time and not even think about food. So I think that's probably part of the indication of whether or not you're fat adapted. Kip.
For me, I would say that the fact that I had done keto so many times, I think that made it very easy because whenever I was doing keto, I would try to keep my carbs like to 20 carbs or lower. And so whenever I decided to do carnivore, probably within the first couple weeks, I was already like I wasn't hungry hardly, or if I was hungry, hungry on carnivore is different than like whenever you eat carbs every day and you're hungry.
Hmm.
It's totally different. Your hunger signals and everything's different. But so being that I come from keto first, it happened pretty quick. And that's good news if somebody that is watching this live and they're on keto and they're considering trying carnivore because um it might be a smoother transition for them because they were already doing keto than someone that has tried neither and just goes straight to carnivore.
Yeah, I would say that fat adapted for me, it was probably within. I would say it was in about a week and a half to 2 weeks. But again, that's because I've done keto and low carb so much over the last 20 years. So I think my body was kind of primed for it anyway. But yeah, I was into doing OMAD after about two weeks or so. So all right. So we've got a question here specifically for Kipp from Kerry from Homestead How. Kerry says, "You're all the best. Question for Kipp. Any carnivore smoker meals you'd recommend? I recently smoked country style ribs, no sauce, only duck fat and salt. Was good. Any smoker faves?"
Everything. I like everything on the smoker. If it's meat, toss it on there and you'll be fine. And season it the way you like. Everybody always asks me, well, what seasoning to use? Well, when you're on carnivore, some people only do salt. Some people like salt, pepper, garlic. Some people like just salt and pepper. Some people like adding other things in. But for the meats, I would say one of my favorite cuts of meat, period, is dino ribs. And so I love those. It's basically, in the barbecue world, people call dino ribs brisket on a bone because it's like three huge bones and it has just amazing meat. Everyone should try it smoked at least once. But and then I like to smoke prime rib as well. So like if you like steaks, get the whole standing rib roast and smoke it. I mean, there's just a million cuts that are in my mind right now, but I'm not gonna take that long. But dino ribs and prime rib are favorites of mine.
Thank you. And just to keep you talking, Kip, John's also got a question for you. Kip, will I get decent results
All
if
right.
I purchase a Pit Boss pellet grill to smoke meat with?
Uh, for me, I'm more of like a purist. I like to use like wood smokers instead of pellet smokers all the time. But I do appreciate the convenience of pellet smokers because since pellet smokers have been invented, there's everybody knows how to barbecue now. Where like 15 years ago, like there wasn't all these barbecue channels and things like that because a lot of people didn't know the art of barbecue and how to actually build their fires and stuff. But now you can just take a pellet grill and voila, you have this amazing meat. But I've owned pellet grills and a pit boss will work great. I would say if that's what's in your budget, get a pit boss. I prefer those over like Traegers. I know a lot of people like Traegers, but I also like a lot of high end pellet smokers, like Yoder has a good one. Lone Star Grills has a good one. There are some brands that I really want a Pits and Spits pellet grill one day, but if that kind of pit is not in your budget, get something like a pit boss because you can make amazing food on it as well.
Cheers, Kip. And okay, we have a question from Girl Friday. I've been on carnivore 2.5 months and I don't want to lose any more weight. How can I gain weight? Okay. Who wants to start with that one? Sean, you want to take this one? Oh, sorry, Alia, put your hand up. Alia, let's go.
Eat berries. Eat some strawberries. That'll probably stop your weight loss. You might put on some pounds. I know. I think the fruit is a controversial topic in the carnivore universe, but
Oh yeah.
eat berries and heavy whipping cream. They'll probably put on some weight. Sean.
Oh man, no, I cannot suggest that. Like the fruit, you said it's controversial. It is with me. Like I mean, you do whatever you want. You're an adult, but like that sugar, especially if you're a diabetic, man, like if you, that sugar and the fructose molecule in fruit is extremely detrimental to us. So if you want to healthily gain weight, the main thing is fat and protein. Give it the building blocks and lift heavy things. Get out there and work out. Um, you work those muscles out and grow the muscles. You don't want to add the carbohydrates because you don't want to grow fat. You want to put on lean mass muscle, as far as weight wise. Um, but like I said earlier, with the whole weight thing, like stabilizing your weight loss, your body's going to get you to where you want to be as far, or where you need to be, or where it wants to regulate you, as long as everything's functioning properly. Now, I mean, obviously, you can have an issue where you're losing weight and there's something going on that's not related to the diet that causes you to continue to lose weight past the point that you should, because you're not uptaking nutrients or whatever the case may be. But you want to do it healthy. You want to maintain that lean muscle mass, and you want to build that muscle mass. You got to work them muscles out, and that's going to require lifting heavy things, which is a dilemma that I have got to get involved with soon. Dave or yeah,
let's go to Kipp first. Kipp, did you want to add anything on that?
I was gonna bounce that over to Dave because it's a long time before I have that problem to worry about. I still on my weight loss journey, but I have heard multiple people say what Shawn's saying from watching other carnivore YouTubers talking about to lift heavy things and to work out and things like that might help you hit gain. And there's some people, like I was watching Lily Kane's channel, and she was talking about how she stops working out. Like she went on a vacation and she didn't work out at all on the vacation, and she started dropping body weight and dropping muscle. But when she got home, she started working out again, and everything just builds back up. So if you're not working out, do that. But anyway, what do you think, Dave?
So yeah, I mean, just to add to that, I say, yeah, of course, working out, I agree. And everyone's different. If you want to kind of stabilize where you are, as Shawn said, your body's going to get you to the place that it knows you should be. But if you want to stabilize at the weight you are for whatever reason, I think you just need to test with the way you're eating. So if you're doing OMAD, maybe switch to 2MAD and see how you go. If you're doing 2MAD, maybe go to 3 meals a day and see how you go. And if you're not eating butter, for example, add butter. If you're not eating eggs, try eggs as well. Just mix things around a bit, do a bit of testing until you find out what works for you. Because at the end of the day, we're all going to be slightly different. So yeah, I would go with that. Shawn.
Yeah.
Crispy Merchandise has a question for you. Since your goal weight will be reached super soon, what thoughts are you having about maintaining versus losing more weight?
As far as maintaining versus losing more weight, I guess it's something that's one more thing that I have given a lot of consideration to. What's going to be the driver for that? And I believe the same thing that drove me to get there is going to be the same thing that carries me through, and that's my why. Because I recognize, especially this far along in the journey, that if I have no intentions of going back to eating the way that I ate before, because I know that if I do that, I'll end up in the same shape I was in when I was eating that way before. So I plan on continuing just doing what I'm doing, not because I don't view this as something that's restrictive or, I don't feel like it's a burden to do this. Like I have literally, and at first it was not that way. I had to chug down the meat like a lot of you guys. I had to come to a point where I made myself do what I know I had decided to do to keep the track going. And like, listen, I got real ugly with myself a couple of times. I learned to love myself because for so long I didn't love myself. I didn't respect myself. I didn't, I had to learn to love myself again and love myself like I was and be able to push myself to get to where I needed to be still, if that makes any sense. But at the same time, there come days where I think we're too easy on ourselves. I'm not saying be hard and always just down yourself, love yourself, but also be honest with yourself to the point to where you know your crap and the stuff that you get involved with, just like I did. And sometimes I have to say, look, get out here and do what you need. You need to do whatever. And, that's happened over the course of the last year, and it may come with maintenance, because it would be real easy to get to the point to where I'm not losing weight. I hit my goal and get a big head and think, I'm going to go have me a piece of cake or whatever. But I genuinely promise it's not a hassle anymore because I've learned to love it. I hope that helps. Makes sense.
Thank you. Okay, so we've got a question here from DB. DB wants to know, how do you deal with eating this way when you are an overnight guest in someone else's home? Alia, take it away.
I usually have my own food prepared. And anybody who, if I'm going to their house, they know that I'm already eating this way. So they're prepared, or I will bring something and be prepared. I think that's the best advice. Be prepared. I was out of town for a month, and I handled my own food. That's what you do when you're on the carnivore diet. You got to handle your own food. You can't leave it up to somebody else. And make sure your friends know. There you go. Kipp?
I don't stay at anyone else's house unless they have a smoker or a grill. And so tonight, whenever I have chat ends, I'm actually going to stay at my in-laws' house because they're going on vacation for the week. And so I'm going to stay at their house, and he has a grill outside, and he knows that I'll use it whenever I want to. And so I might do some meal prepping on his pit, or cook up some steaks or whatever I want. And but I don't stay at people's house all the time. I mean, I pay a mortgage. I have a house, so I like to stay in my house. But if in a pinch, and like Aaliyah said, most people, if I was to go out with them or to stay with them, or not even to spend the night, if I was staying with them for or going to spend the day with them, they know that I'm doing on the carnivore journey. So they usually are going to try to accommodate me in the restaurants that we pick or the food that we're going to cook. Because people over time, they realize whenever you're serious about something, and if they care about you at all, they're going to support you and try to accommodate you as well. What about you, Shawn?
Oh man, listen, I'm not staying at a lot of people. I am actually going next month to my brother's house, so I guess I'll have to deal with it. But he does eat this way. So I don't usually stay at other people's house. My biggest suggestion for this type of situation is have a plan for everything that you put yourself involved, like put yourself in and get involved with. Pre-plan, have a plan for when that happens. You don't get knocked off course as easy if you're prepared and have a plan. But if you just flow with things and just kind of go with how, wherever it is, then there's no telling. If you don't have a goal, you're not going to know when you get there. So just have a plan in mind. Tell them, look, wherever you're staying, just be like, hey, here's how I eat, and if you ain't got this, I ain't coming. I'll stay at the house. That's the best I got for you. Make them come off the hit with some steaks and enjoy it. But I'm also not eating overnight either. I don't eat before bed. So yeah, good luck, man. I hope that helps a little bit, Miss D.
Yeah. The only thing I can add to what's already been said is, one of the ways that I find in every area of life that helps avoid problems and conflict and everything is just the clear setting of expectations. And, to go to everyone's point about kind of just being upfront about the situation, that is setting expectations. If someone says, you want to come and stay at my place, yeah, sure, I'm going to stay over. But look, this is this is the thing about food with me. And look, if I'm going to be a burden or a problem, I'm no, that's fine. I don't have to come over, but I'm going to bring my own food, and I want to enjoy the time with you.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to bring my own food with me or whatever it is. And on this point, I don't know if this is related, but I'm going to relate this comment to this question. And the comment is carry extra underwear.
If you know, you know, right?
Right. So anyway, I've got a question here, which I guess is for me because it's about Japan. Do you have recommendations for low histamine meat options in Japan, or good locations in general where to get meat? Look, I don't, and that's because I haven't had to think about this. So I just go to the local supermarket and buy whatever happens to be on sale there. So yeah, I apologize, Kapu. I don't have any recommendations. If I come across anything though, I will definitely post about it so that you can be made aware, and anyone else that happens to be in Japan can be made aware. Okay, so where are we? Dun, dun, dun. Any questions? 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 Scanning for questions. Oh my goodness. Can you guys see any questions? I'm down to about 9:41 p.m. Oh, hang on, here we go. What's this one? From Rothin786. Anyone watch the Reverse Carnivore series? I'm glad that it was done, but I thought it was really a lot of fluff and no substance. What do you think? Shawn, you want to start with that one?
I did. I watched it. I watched the premiere with Dr. Barry and oh man, all of them. Kelly Hogan was in there. It was really cool. Um, I enjoy it because I always try to learn something. I'm thankful that they did it because honestly, there's nothing else like that about carnivore going on. So I think it's critical to get the message out, and that's one way to do it. I think some of it, in my personal opinion, there were things that could be improved on, things that could have been edited out. They didn't ask me, so um, I didn't get to give any input on that. And but I will say this as well. I support anything that those guys are doing because they're giving of themselves sacrificially to do these things, to change the direction of health and the crisis that's facing us today. Which also kind of brings up the point that I was going to mention that Kerry from Homestead How announced today to his crowd, and I wanted to tell everybody that's present with us tonight. Some of you have heard and some haven't, that he's actually getting ready to start a project to work on a movie that hopefully at the end of it will be we could get onto Netflix or something like that. And there's going to be a lot of us that are working together to bring that about. There's going to be some fundraising and stuff because everything takes money. I know everybody hates it when you go to that route, but that's what it takes. He's selling merchandise that's devoted on the website to raise money for that project. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to do everything I can to help Kerry with that project and work with him. And he's trying to find people to get involved with that as well. So just like the reverse and just like Kerry's doing and some of the rest of us, whenever we talk about getting this message out because it's helped us, that's one way that we can do it. And I think there's a lot of stuff obviously that could have been changed, and there was a lot of good stuff overall. But yeah, I don't know. Everybody's entitled to how they feel about it. Aaliyah, did you get to watch it?
I haven't had time yet, but I'm planning on watching it, so I don't have anything to say about that. Kipp?
I'm not sure if there was just 4 episodes or if that's the only 4 that I found, but I watched 4 episodes of it, and there's 5. So, say I've seen 4 episodes, and me personally, I mean, I'm thankful that there's stuff coming out like that now, and I do agree with Shawn that there were things that could be edited out and things like that. But I even say that whenever I go back and watch some of my videos, like there's things, man, I could have left that out of there. I could have added this instead. But I mean, to me, it just kind of shows too that like this isn't like some huge production crew. This isn't like a Hollywood movie with uh, like super famous actors or anything like that. This is just real people trying to all come together and share their stories. I'm sure it may have been awkward for some of them to all be sitting beside each other because some of them, a lot of them had never met each other before, but they were willing to do that and share things. And a lot of what was in the film is stuff that I already know from watching a lot of different content and things like that and doing my own research. But I think that the documentary will be helpful to people that don't know that much about carnivore, or maybe someone will see it on TV or on YouTube someday that they haven't learned anything about carnivore. And in that scenario, they can get a lot of information in just four video in the videos that I've seen. So I'm glad that it happened, but it wasn't like life changing for me to watch it because I had already learned a lot of that stuff. But what about you, Dave?
It's still on my list of things to watch. Last week was a bit hectic, and I didn't have a chance to do it. But I definitely agree with the sentiments there. As far as anything that's out there is important, because the more that's out there, the more we, the more we are heard. And the only way that this is going to become a more mainstream diet is just by getting the word out there. So yeah, I agree. And we've got a question here from Amber and Dan's Carnivore Life. Has anyone suffered from varicose veins and noticed an improvement since going carnivore? Who wants to take that one first? Okay, Alia.
I don't, but I do have like some blue spidery vein things happening on my legs. So those haven't improved yet, but I've only been on the diet since the 1st of March. But my legs before were very swollen and either fatty or full of water, and now they look like a lot better. So I think it's totally possible. And so no on that specific thing, but I think it's possible. You just gotta like stay the course, and your body's gonna heal what it wants to heal in the process and in the time that it finds the most important things to heal first. I don't know if anyone else can answer that question. It's kind of like a female question.
Shawn or Kipp, do you have varicose vein issues?
Honestly, no.
So
I talk about the weeping edema, that I had with my legs, and that completely has healed up, and I've got a little bit of scarring from the weeping edema that I had in my legs. It's improved dramatically. So the veins and I don't know, the refreshing of the skin down there is, I mean, it's pretty good. So, but not varicose veins. I haven't really. The only veins I notice is like my veins, like they pop out like crazy. I had my wife take a picture of me the other day because I was just sitting there and my veins were popping out all the way up my arms, and I was like, man, that is like, it's one thing whenever I was like 457 pounds to look at where my wrist used to be and stuff and just not know what, like, I never saw my veins for a long time, and now it's like I'll be sitting there and all of a sudden, I don't know if it's because my body gets overheated or what, and my veins start popping up, and I know it's very noticeable. So it's cool, Alia?
Someone just commented, Cats R Us commented that Carnivore Queen has reversed varicose veins. So there's a story or an anecdote about that being resolved.
Awesome.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So looking for some more questions. And I haven't had a varicose veins issue, so I can't comment on that either. But other than, I think what Alia said is important. Just kind of your body is going to prioritize what it heals, and it's going to basically, as it starts to be able to heal itself, it's going to make a to-do list of what's most important, and it's going to
Mm-hmm.
run through that to-do list.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Da, da, da. Questions. Oh my goodness. Okay. Lots of comments, but not many
keep on
cues.
there.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, the cues.
Any of you eat ground turkey?
No.
No. Let's do a quick poll. Alia, no. Shawn,
I don't.
no. Kipp,
I mean, I had before in the past, but honestly, ground turkey doesn't sound good to me. I mean, if that's all I had, I would eat it, but I mean, it doesn't compare to beef.
yeah, and I don't eat it either. I mean, I just remember eating turkey at Christmas when I was a kid and always feeling like I was choking and I had to like guzzle down water because it's so dry. So yeah. Okay. That's a Varicose Veins question. A question. Did you all have acid reflux? Has it totally gone away now? Okay, Kipp, you want to start with that one?
I had dealt with acid reflux before I started carnivore, and I used to take Tums, and there was something I'm not good with all the terms. I think it was called or something Prazol or something. I can't remember what it was called, but I took something for acid reflux, and then I would take Tums all the time. A lot of times, I would time when I was taking Tums. I'd be like, okay, so I'm about to eat this meal, and I'm gonna go ahead and take Tums now because I know that it's gonna kick in around the time that usually I would start feeling it. And a lot of times, there were times that I would have to sit up at night and sleep in the couch to try to keep stuff down. But since I've started carnivore, probably within the first week, honestly, I haven't had to take Tums at all. I have not took any Tums, any of the that other medicine, anything like that ever since I started. So for me, it has went away completely. What about you, Aaliyah?
Uh, no, I didn't. I haven't had acid reflux since I was pregnant, but I did have a whole bucket list of other digestive issues that have gone away since starting carnivore within like the first week and a half or 2 weeks. Shawn.
Yeah, I think I actually hit that one in the comments when I saw it a while ago. I was like, yeah, I did have acid reflux. I had to take what was it, Prilosec before I came to carnivore. I haven't had it. I actually haven't even thought about acid reflux until you asked this question. Since I've been going, I guess since I've been going carnivore, it's been a really long time, but I actually thought I had an ulcer at one time from due to acid reflux and had to get on Prilosec and a prescription medication. Uh, but I haven't experienced anything like that. No acid reflux. Like whenever I would sleep, my wife could even attest to this. But it's been a long time since it happened. Um, I would be asleep and I would get awakened by the acid building up and coming out to where it would wake me up and it would burn in my throat and stuff. So I haven't had any issues with acid reflux. I have heard, this question asked, and Dr. Barry says that there's some people that suffer with it even after going carnivore. And one of the best things that you can do until you eliminate it is to build the block, like put blocks under the back sides of your beds, like against the wall, so your bed's kind of like at a slight incline, and that'll help a lot with that if you're experiencing, or anybody else out there is still experiencing that right now. Dave.
I haven't experienced it in 20 something years, and so no change for me. All right, so we're almost caught up with the questions now. If you're looking at the chat, guys, you might have seen this question. It's potentially a controversial question or an embarrassing question. How has the how has the carnivore diet affected sexual drive?
I was
Uh,
wondering when someone was going to ask that question.
yeah, I'm surprised that question doesn't come up more often. Does anyone want to take that, or do you want me to start? Or
I'll
Do
go
you want
after
is she want
Dave.
a no comment? Okay.
Fine, I'll
So
talk about anything.
so for me, I would say I don't really think there's much change. It's maybe bordering more on increased, but not much more, not much change. Alia?
We're like on honeymoon right now.
Oh,
That's
nice.
all right.
But you have to understand that we have two small kids and we work. And I was so exhausted before. And I've always enjoyed that actually. I've always enjoyed that time, but if you're tired and you feel like crap, it's not happening. And I think maybe if you have small kids and you're in the chat, you probably have some reality with that or agreement with that. And then all of a sudden, and then so I started carnivore and then my body was healing and then I went away for a month for work. So then when I came back, it was like woohoo. So that's your answer. Yes, yes, that's how it's affected it. Didn't know butter could do that to you. Butter and bacon.
That cholesterol.
Yeah. Uh, Kipp?
I'm not sure if it's being carnivore that has that has done it, or just the fact that I've lost weight. I mean, whenever I was almost 500 pounds, it's like, hey, look, sex is a lot of a workout, okay? So now, I mean, I just get around better, so it makes, of course, it makes things easier. So uh, so yeah, I would say things get better. But if I was small and started carnivore, I don't know if it would have been a huge impact. But I like the way I look better. I like the way I feel better. And whenever that happened, it might make you in the mood more. What about you, Shawn?
Is this a yes or no question or a fill in the blank?
This is like kiss and tell.
I just say yes because like after I went carnivore, around the same time, I like I suggest to you guys all the time in the group. I had my hormones checked. I had my labs done. I started eating this way. I started feeling better. So many different things happened at one time. So just to cut out on a lot of the details, yes, the sex drive gets better with carnivore diet because you're getting the cholesterol, which helps your hormones and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I had started having is testosterone replacement. As a man with low testosterone, you're not going to have energy. You're not going to have a lot of the things that you need to function correctly in your body. You're not going to feel good as good. And my testosterone was like 122. So I had to have some testosterone replacement just to get it into the normal range. That's absolutely critical for you as a man. Brandon actually started, I talked with Brandon, and he has started the carnivore diet this recently here. And so, yeah, absolutely, man. I continue to just stick with it, eat that carnivore diet, and you're going to see some improvement, man. It can actually raise your testosterone naturally for some people. I've heard the doctors talk about that as well. But, I just can't emphasize enough. Get your hormones checked, eat carnivore. It's going to drastically improve it, man. So, and that's about as deep as I'm going to go with that one. Dave?
And my husband just jumped in, so I don't know what his thoughts are, and I don't know if he just heard all of what I just said.
Well, put him on and let's see.
He's in the comments section.
Tell him just to walk in there and tell us.
What's his name in the comment section?
Caesar.
Caesar.
Yeah. He just says ground pork belly.
Ground pork belly.
That,
That's not his nickname for you, is it?
No. We're eating a lot. I don't think he actually heard anything about what we were just talking about. But we eat a lot of ground pork belly. You should do it. Get some ground pork belly.
So guys, we need to wrap up soon. That's actually we've been going for more than 90 minutes now. There was one question I noticed there that I wanted to hit before we okay. So this is another question you can answer or not answer depending on how you feel. But B Metz says, "Have any of you been emailed about sponsorships? If so, who were they from, and why did you choose to either say yes or no?" Does anyone want to take that?
I haven't experienced that yet. My channel is very new, and now I'll put a plug in. Please subscribe. Kipp.
Uh yeah, y'all definitely go subscribe to Alia's channel. I'm fortunate that early on as she started her channel, I actually found her channel. It just popped up in my feed, and I like watching her content. So y'all check her out. And then also, I mean, when it comes to sponsors, I've had multiple companies reach out to me and just say, "Hey, like we'd like to send you this product and let you review it, and we'd like you to test this out." And 90% of what I've gotten so far are of the companies that reach out to me. Like, I don't think it's a good fit for me to share on my channel. Like, I've had some have been like jewelry, and some have been like this medicine to help people sleep. And there have been other different companies to reach out with things. But now, like, whenever a company says, "Hey, I want to send you this awesome grill thermometer or this barbecue pit," because I've had company send me a barbecue pit recently, and I had heard of the company before, and that's a company that I believed in their product. So I was like, absolutely send that thing. I will use it a lot. So I mean, it to me, it just I want my channel to be real. So it just depends on what the product is if I were to accept anything like that. Because I mean, that kind of stuff can be good for your channel, but you also don't want to be fake with your audience and just accept everything if it's something that doesn't actually go with what your channel's for or what you believe in. What about you, Shawn?
I have not had any sponsorships. I haven't had anybody reach out to me about a sponsorship at all. I would consider anything. I'm the type dude to talk to anybody if you can't tell, but like I haven't had anybody reach out with sponsorships or anything of the sort. I would consider them all, but I mean, I would have to believe in it. I would have to, I'm not gonna push a bunch of junk out. I'm not gonna promote something just to make money because I need money, but it's not worth it to put my name with something that's not beneficial for people and really going to help people. So, yeah, if you're a sponsor, you're putting stuff out, send me intentionalcarnivore@gmail.com and I'll look at what you got. Other than that, nah. And subscribe to Alia, check her out, support her,
Aw, thank you.
and so
Yeah. Nice. I haven't been. I've been approached by one person to do some sponsorship, and it would have been insulting my audience to actually put it out. It was some kind of ebook or something like that about losing weight, and it was like basically the way of losing weight that was this ebook was about was everything that I would go against on my channel anyway. So it would just be insulting to say, "Oh, by the way, today's sponsor is lowcalorie4you.com" or something like that, and so I said no, but of course I would entertain sponsorships if they ever come up. Shawn, go ahead.
I know you said you have to cut it off here at about an hour and a half, and I know you're getting ready to do that. I just want to thank everybody that showed up tonight for all your questions. If you haven't subscribed, if you haven't liked, do that. These guys right here are great. Subscribe, like to them if you don't already. And if you have more questions that you didn't get to ask tonight, you guys, I will be going live tomorrow at 6:00. We'll have let's see who I was going to be on there. My wife is talking about coming on with me again, and then we're going to have Courtney, and we're going to have Courtney Luna and Cassie Berklis from Carnivore Quest. So it's going to be like the three girls, and they're going to let me sit in on the conversation. So you guys are going to want to come check them out, ask questions for them and stuff like that. Bring the questions you didn't get in tonight, and I appreciate it. And I'll see you guys tomorrow at 6. Dave?
Um, well, yeah. Look, thank you for joining, and yeah, please make sure you subscribe to Alia's channel, Kipp's channel if you haven't already, Shawn's channel, Intentional Carnivore if you haven't already, and something
This
that
is
I
very
should
funny.
mention that just came through. Someone very kindly sent through $100. It says,
Thank
"Thanks all
you.
4 of you for taking your time out for your Saturday to do this, and part of this goes to Alia, aka
Oh,
Pork Belly, for being
thank
the
you.
estrogen infusion we needed." That's awesome. That's awesome.
Thank you, and that's very sweet.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah.
So
Awesome.
thank you everybody for joining. And we will see you in the next one, which is most likely next Saturday evening or Sunday Australia Japan time.
Mhm. Absolutely. We'll see you.
Take
Cheers,
care,
guys.
everybody.
Awesome.
Thank
Thank
Bye.
you.
you. See ya.
Good
Bye.
night. Later.